to begin.
Okay, sounds good.
Dr. Tameka is on her way in. And there she is. And we
love the background.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we are ready to begin. We will officially start. Let me press record. Make sure that no one else has a different source of sound as to we don't get any.
Kofi mic is covering him up.
Huh? Oh,
your mic is covering up your cuteness.
All right, I will start record on the cloud. As I begin any show that I do, I will do it no differently today. Talk to me, Cleveland, and anywhere else, north, east, west, and south. Welcome to this extra special Chill Talk, Chill Vision, brought to you by Lodosha Wright Products, Reverence Design Team, all things Lodosha in the Amazon world. She has an Amazon page. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Textured Tales. We have a very exciting panel of experts to talk about all things according to hair, specifically Black hair, politically, mentally, physically, historically, all things hair and Black hair. I am super excited to begin to introduce you to our panelists today. Of course, we have my BFF, Lodosha Wright, author, entrepreneur, speaker, policy advocate, cosmetologist. She is simply incredible. Hello, Lodosha.
Hello, hello, hello.
Are you feeling good about today?
I'm feeling super fantastic African magic.
All right. We have Rashana Bates. Rashana is the owner of Kids Style Lounge. Kids Style Lounge is a beauty and barbershop for children. And we just saw her. We were honored to have her on Chill Talk Wednesday. Rashana, how are you doing, sister?
I'm doing amazing. How you doing?
I am doing fine. We have our very own Susan L. Hall Dotson, now in Indianapolis. She is with the, let me get it straight because I want to give her her former position so bad. She is the coordinator of African American history at the Indiana Historical Society. Did I get that correct, Susan Hall Dotson?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And local people know Susan Hall Dotson very well from her time here in Cleveland at the Western Reserve Historical Society. She was super, as Lodosha would say, super fantastic in Cleveland. And we begrudgingly gave her to Indianapolis. But I am very happy for the people of Indianapolis and the state of Indiana to have such a dynamic person. How are you doing again, Susan?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Glad to see everybody this afternoon now.
Yeah, that is correct. Okay, we have Mary O. Mary O got it together. She has it together over there. She's the owner of Selmar Travel and Tours, specializing in tours to West Africa and West African travel. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
people.
And can you give us the correct name, your last name, even though we're going to say Mary O?
Mary O is good. It's Mary Oluonye, but Mary O is what everybody calls me.
Okay, all right.
That's okay.
And we have Stand Up Kent State University. Dr. Tamika Ellington, the CEO, founder of First Generation Revolutionaries Movement. She is also interim assistant dean at the College of Arts at Kent State University, where she is an associate professor. How are you doing, Dr. Tamika?
I'm well, thank you. Thank
Now,
you for the invite, Lodosha.
Dr. Tameka, I have to say first and foremost,
Yeah.
it was an honor to be at the Kent State University Black United Students event where you debuted your tapestry.
Oh, you were there. Yes.
I sat in the row. I was in the row. I sat in the exact same row with you. So
you sure did.
Indeed,
you were you with your family?
I was with my wife, who I'm proud to say was the first female Black United Students president at Kent State University, Dr. Janice Taylor. But it was wonderful to see you there and to bring that information and that exquisite work of art.
Thank you.
To Kent State University. So, and I know Dr. Tameka has to go somewhere early. So we're going to get this started right with her off the bat and talk about the influence, the political influence of Blackness.
You forgot Kofi.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. You know what?
Okay. It's all right. I'm gonna forget him next time. Don't worry about it.
It's because of that rap battle that we had the other day. My fault, bro. The one, and you know what? I was leaving Kofi for last. I got caught up talking about Kent State University. The one and only Kofi Piesie, Pan-African lecturer, co-author of Spears of the Massey, Volume 1. And Lodosha, you know, come on. I don't, and this I didn't forget you, Kofi, because I have your books here. Spears of the Massey, Volume 1, Spears of the Massey, Volume 2, and Spears of the Massey, Volume 3. I have it right here. No, I don't actually have it. But as far as I know, that we are days, minutes, seconds away from Volume 3. Is that correct, Kofi?
Yes, we dropping it next month, but we got some other stuff in store this week, so be on the lookout for that this week. And you forgot to mention my children book, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland of African Education and Music and Instruments. It's out now on KofiPiesie.tv.com and Amazon.com.
All right, brother Kofi, my man. And we have some special announcements coming up for Volume 3, but we're holding that information right now. But super duper activity over with the Kofi Piesie research team. Now, Dr. Tamika Ellington, could you just jump right in for us on where are we looking at in the political landscape of Blackness, Black hair? How does it involve this new cancel culture, especially politically, with the vice presidential nomination of Sister Kamala Harris? Things have been brought up. Is she Black? Is she not Black? What's going on politically with the landscape?
Well, you know, hair has been political since the 60s, even if we didn't want it to be political. You know, we were just expressing who we were as Black people, loving our Black selves. And because what was happening in society, our hair became a political stance. Our hair is still a political stance because of the fact that it's still very controversial for people to wear their natural hair, unfortunately. It's still, you know, legislation has to now be put in place to, you know, prevent people from being discriminated against because of their hair. And I'm still waiting on Ohio to jump on that bandwagon, you know, for that legislation to come into place. But, you know, I think that whole situation with the our soon to be vice president is just a way to, I really think that it's just a way to detract from what's really supposed to be happening. You know, who cares if, you know, she's with, you know, somebody that's not Black, or who cares if she is maybe biracial or whatever the case might be? That doesn't matter. I mean, first of all, she's a woman, you know? First of all, she's a woman. And if we can get a woman in that vice presidential seat, then that's leaps and bounds of where we were, you know, in the beginning anyway. But I think that, I mean, Black hair's always been political. It's always going to be political until the day that Black people are not discriminated against. Black hair is always going to be a political issue.
Right now, really quick, because you tell me about the museum that you have going on.
Kent State University is going to be featuring an exhibition that I curated with a co-curator and friend of mine. His name is Dr. Joseph Underwood. He's an African art historian. And Dr. Joseph and I curated a show called Textures, as you can see in my lovely background. Textures, the history and art of Black hair. But the show will open in September of 2021. It was supposed to open this fall, but because of the pandemic, we decided to push it back. It's going to be a major show, and we did not want to have to sacrifice the number of people that were able to get to see it up close, get to be in the same space with those beautiful archives and artwork. And so we are actually, we just finished publishing a book for it, the Textures, the History and Art of Black Hair. It's a table book with my background. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let me see. I'll have to take my virtual background off so you guys can see it. Okay, here we go. So this is our beautiful book. We just published it. It's on the market now. You can go to the Kent State University website, the museum's website, and purchase the book. And so this book has some essays in it from myself and a couple other hair scholars, as well as beautiful imagery of some of the items that will be shown at the exhibition. It's a compilation of archives as well as beautiful artwork that will be featured in the show, contemporary pieces of art as well. And the reason why we wanted to do the show is just because being at a PWI, a predominantly white institution, I've been at Kent State now for about 15 years. And I felt that it's important, and it just so happened that, with everything happening now, I mean, the timing is just perfect. But it's so important for us as a people to begin to have a better understanding of ourselves. And I felt that Textures was, going to be a way to be able to help other people who are non-Black to understand a little bit more about Black people and to see that Black people are beautiful. Our hair is beautiful. Our hair has meaning. It has significance. It does not, deserve to be appropriated. It deserves to be celebrated. And so that's the reason why we decided to do that exhibition.
All right, excellent. And I do want to say, if people, I briefly mentioned that I met her at the Kent State University event. I do want to add, just for historical sake, that Kent State University was the location that created Black History as a month. We know
Absolutely.
that it was initially Black History Week, but Kent State University was the place that Black History Month was conceived and carried out. Is that correct, Dr.
Absolutely,
Ellington?
absolutely. Some of our, founding brothers and sisters of the Black United Students, and they really laid the groundwork for what Kent State is today. I mean, they really did. A lot of the privileges that we have, and I'm not saying that Black students have it all, all together there. There's still a lot of problems. I'm sure you guys have probably seen in the news what's been going on, like when school first started. But they really laid the groundwork for what our life was going to be like at Kent State. And I'm also an alum from Kent. And so I got to benefit from all of the hard work, all of the protests, everything that they did to make Kent State University a better place for Black students. So I got to benefit from that. And I'm still now helping to continue to lay the groundwork for students coming after me.
Thank you. And a special shout out to my mentor and many of our mentors, Dr. Edward Crosby, who was the founder, the creator, the initial chairman of the Pan-African Studies Department, and one of those people that was involved in the creation of Black History Month, as well as my fraternity brother, rest in power, Ibrahim Al-Kafiz, also known as Fargo, also known as Dwayne White. I personally knew that brother, very interesting dude, and I believe the story goes that it came out of his mouth.
That's
we
right.
need to have a Black History Month. A week is not enough time.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right, but thank you. I had to give my Kent State University shout out. And for a historical perspective, going to Africa and West Africa, I want to bring Kofi, especially since I tried to pass him up earlier. Brother Kofi, if it's anything we need to do to reintroduce, I want the people to know where they can get your books from, and let us know that your expertise, and to talk about hair in Africa, or specifically in West Africa, and how it is involved in the hierarchy of that culture.
Okay. Again, my name is Kofi Piesie. I am the founder of Kofi Piesie Research Team. We have a few publications out. We have 4 publications out. Spirits of the Democracy, Historical Survey in the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, Volume 1 is out now. From Spirit to Pens, a Historical Survey in the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, out now. Sean, who's also a member of Kofi Piesie Research Team, which is published up on the Kofi Piesie Research Team and Marcy Warrior Clan imprint. Children book, One Night Before Bed, it is out now. My children book, Colorado's Trip to the Motherland, An African Education in Music and Instrument, is out now. You can get those on KofiPiesieTV.com or Amazon.com. I specialize in I used to say West African culture, but I specialize in West, South, Central. It don't matter. I specialize in culture and traditions in no matter what region Africa is in. Talking about hair, let's talk about it from a historical standpoint. Because I know we're going to get into the straightening of the hair and all those types of things. I'll talk about that too with the straightening of hair. But in West Africa, for thousands and thousands of years, in Africa general, for thousands of years, hair, they have been devoted attention and time to styling hair, or taking care of their hair. Hairdressing, what they would call it, was a socialized a socialization job, as it is now, a place where people can go and socialize and get beautified. So those same things were happening in Africa as well. And hair is very important in each ethnic group. Hair could be considered as an identifier. So it would, if you would look the statuses of the hair. So it was multiple different hairstyles, which some of our youth still use these same similar hairstyles today. But they used hair as different statuses. Like you would look at, let's just say if you went to North Africa, which y'all call Egypt, but it's called Kemet. So if you look at the Remich, or you look at the artifact of Ramesses II, it's an artifact of him being the child of Haru, and he has a braided lock on the side of his hair. That represents that he is a child in Kemet, but also he is the heir to the throne. So that symbolizes, again, being a youth in North Africa, and that he's an heir to the throne. If you look in Namibia, that's in South Africa, and you look at the beautiful sister that from Kent State, she showed a picture a while ago. She showed a picture in the book. I was shaking my head. Those are the Himba people. Those Himbas people. If you look at the men also has that same thing. We went from North Africa, now we going down to South Africa. You see that same hairstyle of the lock braided. You know what I'm saying? The Egyptologists call it the Haru lock, but it's a braided lock to one side. So the Himba boys have that same lock, and that status represents that he is a young boy. Now you look at in that same culture of the Himba people, you will see that the lock is now not on the side, but it is braided to the back. Now he has went from an adolescent to an adult, but he's not married. That braid signifies that he is unmarried. So it's different statuses that symbolizes that you're, even if you go to, let's stay on the Himba people for a minute. The Himba young girls, if the Himba young girl's locks is in front of her face, that represents that she is a young girl. Now, if she is married, you will see the locks facing toward the back is no longer covering up her face, and which represents that she is interested in getting married. And then they have a hair dress called the embre that goes on top of the head that symbolizes now that you know that she is married. Even if you go to some of the royal statuses and you look in South Africa, you look in East Africa, the braids that is braided in some type of bowl represents some types of royal status. Even the dreadlocks or matted dreads, you will know if you go in particular places in West Africa, that brother there is a priest. He's a priest because of the certain hairstyles that he wears. You know, and even hair is so important. Hair was used in Africa as healing tonics. Hair was used as, if you look at if you go to Ghana, in Ghana, if you look at the Akan people in Ghana, the people, you know, doing before I go to Ghana, let's go back to West Africa. Certain traditions in West Africa, if you are a widow is mourning her husband, then because their hair is always, you know, it's always been a stigma that African hair is dirty, it's unkept, it's uncloned. That is not the truth. And I have a nice article that has plethora of pictures of our people keeping their hair clean. And this is a practice has been going on for thousands of years. But if you look at, the only time that the hair wouldn't be unkept in West Africa when certain ethnic groups is when a widow was mourning. So it was certain different ethnic groups in West Africa. If you went to Senegal, they may mourn 40 days over their husband. So the hair would be unkept, meaning that they would not style their hair, they would not comb their hair. And this was also to repel other men away from them. They would know that this woman is in mourning because her hair is unkept. Now if you go to Ghana and you look at the people in the Akan tradition, their practice is, or you look at the Yoruba people in Nigeria, the woman or anyone close to someone that's being that has been died, they wouldn't keep their hair uncut. They would shave their hair off. They would shave their hair off, and you would know that these people are in mourning. The widow is in mourning, or someone close to the deceased one. He is close or she is close to the deceased one. And then they will use the hair that they shaved to make wigs. So they also made wigs. So wigs has been made for thousands of years. Even if you go back to Kemet, you know, if you look at the Ramish, I know y'all calling me Egyptian, but they did not refer to themselves as the Egyptians. They referred to themselves as the Ramish or the Kemetu. So numerous women and even men, they wore wigs on their hair. So wigs, we are innovators of the wigs. Also, even when you go with the, I know we're gonna get into the kinky hair and I'll digest.
We're definitely getting into that, brother Kofi.
Yeah.
We're gonna definitely get into that.
So you want me to say that for later on and
we definitely coming back to you, bro. Okay. And because we got a lot of mileage to cover, especially we're gonna talk about nappy, kinky, where the term comes from, what it means. Is it derogatory? Is it something we should accept? We getting into all of that, brother. But I want to run it by Susan Hall Dotson real quick to basically talk about preserving artifacts, museums where people can come and see things that are collected. Because a lot of times people, they hear about these things and they believe that they're myths. They're mythical. If we can't see it, we don't want to believe it. And as brother Kofi and them know, we come from a crew to say we need receipts. We want to see that these things existed. So what is the importance, Susan, of museums and historical societies that can pass this knowledge on?
Well, first we need all kinds of receipts. I mean, not just paper documents, but those are important too. The Academy calls them the white paper trail. But for our stories, the white paper trail does not always exist. And it's not always truthful. So who filled it out? Like birth certificates, death certificates, things like that. But so it also includes oral histories and the handing down of stories from one generation to the next. Photographs are extremely important. As you see behind me in my virtual background, that's from the Madam C.J. Walker collection, of which right now any of us can go online at indianahistory.org and look at over 40,000 scans that relate to and come from her company, her personal life, and her company that went on well after her death in 1919. And that's how Tamika Ellington and we met online through emails, where they're borrowing a couple of items from the collection to use in the exhibit textures. We currently have an exhibit up right now. It's been up since September 2019, and because of the pandemic, it is going to go until January 2023. And it has original documents, original photographs, original 3D items like the tin cans from her products over the years, some of the straightening combs and the flat irons and the curlers that were used in her business. We recreate her office. We call it You Are There. So it's like a day in a life, and real people are acting in that space. And it's recreated from a photograph that looks exactly like her office. So depending on what day and time you come, you can meet Madam Walker. You can meet George Knox, who was a barber, who was a former slave. He was a barber. He was also owned a newspaper. There goes more receipts. Who writes the stories? Who edits the stories? And keeping those documents available. So we house them. Where I used to work at the Western Reserve Historical Society, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, are telling stories not out of thin air. They are telling stories based on documents, based on things, interpreting things. So even artists, some of the artists that are being highlighted in textures are using these same documents and history books and stories and movies and films. It's a hodgepodge of things. It's a lot of things, but without them. So the things that are in your attic, things that belong to your family, I cried a whole river on stuff that is no longer available. People have thrown it out. People say one man's trash is one man's treasure. But that's how we're able to tell these stories. That's how we're able to be more factual and not just interpret what we think happened based on those documents or what somebody said. So with that, I'm going to take a little stab at the Netflix program Self-Made. It was optioned for the book by Alelia Bundles, who is the great-great-granddaughter and biographer for Madam C.J. Walker. And here goes one iteration. Sometimes you can see it. There we go. There we not go.
We got a sneak peek.
I'm gonna leave mine up, but she has a couple other books, but then she optioned it to be made into this film. But the showrunners, the writers, and they were all sisters, okay? It's all Black women. They chose to tell other stories using that story. And a lot of it is not true. A lot of it is not accurate. A lot of it is based on a story that they wanted to tell. They obliterated Annie Malone. Annie Malone was a real life person who actually hired Madam Walker, but that what we just saw, that's not true. She hired her. She was successful in her own right. And no, she never moved to Indianapolis. She was in St. Louis. She went to Chicago. Do your own homework. I challenge all of y'all, read a book. Here goes a book on Madam Walker. There's a couple of them.
Well, you know, brother Kofi, Susan, brother Kofi, we had a slight discussion about that just yesterday. So that's something that he really wants to get into. But go ahead, and I didn't mean to interrupt your wisdom. Go ahead.
The whole point of the Annie Malone character that they made into a composite character for Hollywood's sake, for their own, I say it, ego of wanting to tell this other stories by using this moment. So they created the color moment, the color line storyline. Annie Malone and Madam Walker didn't look that much different complexion wise, and they didn't have that kind of beef. That was a created beef for Hollywood for this story. Now I had 4 hours. It was supposed to be 8. They had 4 hours. Most movies are about 2. They had, I'm gonna say it again, 4 hours to get this right. 4 hours to tell the story and not obliterate, say, Annie Malone's entire history. Her whole story is gone. So we at Indiana Historical Society, she came to Indianapolis in 1910. But she wasn't making her product in the kitchen in Indianapolis. She had already done that in Denver. And then she went to Pittsburgh, where she had a small plant and started a college, and then came to the Crossroads of America to start her bigger factory and company, and lived there till 1916. The company remained there. You don't get any of that from that movie. So we always have to take a grain of salt with who wrote it, who produced it, who funded it. And in this case, it's really dangerous because we told the story. It was sisters told that story. It was a director was a sister. The showrunners are sisters. So, but they used the story, which was their right to do. They optioned the book to create other narratives that they wanted to tell. The problem is they hitched that on to a real live people like Madam Walker and her daughter, and then obliterated other real life people. So it's important to know the facts, and the archives are there. Everything is not in the archives, sadly, but you can, with Madam Walker's 40,000 plus scans are available to actually look at online, or you can come. We are open again to the public, make an appointment and actually dig through the boxes and read those letters in your hand, see her documents, see her company that went all the way into the 80s and what was going on. So, and that's available for so many other historic figures. Their documents, they may not always be digitized. And that's why it's important for the sung, the unsung, the famous, the infamous, to share their stuff, to share your family's histories. Now, many institutions will take them and scan them and return them. We call it a loan to scan. We want the originals, especially where I am. We have conservation department where we can take care of them and fix them, as well as properly store them. But if you sit on them, they sit in your attic. Ooh, the worst stories in the world is stuff in the attic and stuff in the basement, and it's too hot and they crack and they break. And
I was going to ask you about that, Susan. What
and
can
the stuff
we do
in the basement that gets wet,
what
mold
can
is
we
not
do
our friend.
as Black people who oftentimes come across things that belong to our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents? What can we do? How do you reach out to facilities like yours and to make sure these things are taken care of for other generations to benefit from?
Give them up. If you're not going to use them and take care of them yourself, take them out of the garage, the attic, the basement, the back of a hot closet, and call your local history museum, historical society. Sometimes it's a county museum or historical society. Maybe you take it not to the one where you are because there may be no nexus of provenance to their mission and their story, and you take it back to where they came from. So if you have, I just got a collection the other day. It was really a company, Jones Gravel Company, and it was formed in 1870 right here in Indianapolis. And the man who started it was formerly enslaved. And as the story goes, the narrative goes, he walked here over time from North Carolina. And his family, he started this company. I don't know learn all the backstories on him. And that company was here and prospering, and there's photographs and there's stuff. So now I could dispel the misinformation that Black people are lazy and shiftless and aren't entrepreneurs and business people and didn't contribute to the community, theirs or any others. Here go, you said receipts. I got lots of receipts, including real receipts from where they were writing checks to pay their bills and billing people to pay them for their work, in a whole ledger with dollar signs. Same with Madam Walker. I mean, this is not just kitchen hair. We can talk about that too. That's a whole another thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But now we can show a different side of the narrative, and so that Rashana's story is on the shoulders of who? Madam Walker. On the shoulders of who? Annie Malone. On the shoulders of John Atchison, Olive Benson, and Lodosha Wright. Because I remember when she was talking about starting the business. And here she is. Been doing it now, over 20 years?
Right.
We old. But and that's real. It has diversified too in it, and not just style. This is style, If I throw some water on it, you'll see another style. We'll get to
Now, what I'm gonna do, Susan, is we're gonna go by everybody to get their initial response, topical, and then we're gonna get into some discussions. But because you went into a lane that Brother Kofi definitely was interested in, Kofi, I just want to know: Are you trying to co-sign with some of this information that Sister Susan just brought up? Got to take your. You got to go off of mute, Brother Kofi.
Yeah, I forgot I muted myself. Yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna say too much because I have a presentation that I'm gonna do on this very, very topic in the next day or so. But yeah, I looked at the show last night. I called you yesterday and I was, talking to you about it or whatever. And my wife overheard it and she told me I didn't know nothing about the Self-Made show. So last night I looked at all 4 series last night and I frowned up majority of the whole show because I'm like, I done read numerous articles. I done read 2 other books dealing with the information with Madam C.J. Walker and Annie Malone, which I think the character, they made up a character. This character name was Ada Monroe. It wasn't Annie Malone. So
Annie Monroe.
Yeah. So this character was made up. So I frowned up the whole time. I didn't like it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't like it because they pinned 2 Black women against each other. One, they depicted Annie Malone out to be this villain that hated, dark-skinned people, dark-skinned women, and and they depicted Madam C.J. Walker, a Sarah Breedlove, as a someone who stole Annie's Malone ideal and ran with it, So I just didn't like how they pinned both of each other against each other. So a lot of the information that was in the movie was very inaccurate out, and like she said, if you go back and you look at 1904, I think it was 1904. The sister can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was 1904 that Madam C.J. Walker moved to St. Louis, and in 1904 she became a Poro girl, which is something Poro. I'm gonna talk about that in my presentation. Where did the word Poro comes from? You know what I'm saying? And why did Anna Malone use the word Poro? And what is the word Poro connected to? But anyway, Madam C.J. Walker was a Poro agent. She actually worked for Annie Malone, but in the movie it shows that she just did her laundry, and in exchange for Madam C.J. Walker doing her laundry, she would grow her hair, because she had patches in her hair, which I talk about how she ended up with patches, and she wasn't the only one that ended up with thin hair and patches because of the plumbing. You know what I'm saying? During that earlier time, there was no, especially for Black folks, there was no inside plumbing, you know what I'm saying, or proper electricity. So it was they didn't wash their hair frequently, and due to the environment hazardous of bacteria and lice and etc., it damaged a lot of African American women hair during that particular time. I'm gonna just digest there because I can go on about a whole bunch of stuff that I got in my presentation, but I co-sign everything that sister's saying. She is valid. And actually, I was excited once Lodosha told me that this sister was actually going to be on the panel today, and so I can hear some of the stuff that she was saying actually validates the information that I have in my presentation. So thank you for that.
And I do want to say, Susan, and I know you and I have worked together on many projects, including a lot of the work you did with photographer Alan E. Cole when you were at the Western Reserve Historical Society, as well as things with Garrett Morgan, who's also involved in this whole thing about hair care and Black people, and we can talk a little bit more about that. But I want to go over to Mary O, and we're going to get around to everybody, and then we're going to break out to a conversation. And people in the chat, I see people have questions. They're getting it in the chat. You know, we have members of the Kofi Piesie research team in the chat. They holding it down. They have their own conversation going on in the chat. And so, yeah, please, if you have anything that you want to add to the conversation, that you want us to bring out, let it be known into the chat. But Sister Mary O, talk to us about, I know you're talking about repatriation. Talk to us about our connection to us physically, not just mentally going to the continent of Africa that we know as Africa, but people physically returning to Africa. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So Africa is where we began. That's the first thing I want to say. But before I get to that, I'd like you all to know that I'm actually an author as well. I've written books for a long time. I've done country profiles on Nigeria, South Africa, Madagascar. Those were my early books. But later on, I decided to write and publish by myself. The first one I did was Notable Lives, by Garrett Morgan. So I have a children's biography, grades 3 to 5, about Garrett Morgan. They're in libraries. It's on sale at Amazon.com, and they've been buying those. I wrote that because the kids did not have enough information every February, because I worked at the Shaker Library. So we did not at that time have enough books to address Garrett Morgan's. And the man lived in Cleveland, Ohio. Came from Kentucky when he was age 14 to Ohio. So if we don't have enough Garrett Morgan in Ohio, that is terrible. So I wrote one book. I wrote another book, Madam C.J. Walker, as part of my series as well. And then did one as well on Sonia Sotomayor. These are people of color that we needed more books, and children needed to know about them. So when we write our own stories, we don't have enough people who write our own stories. It takes detailed research to do that, to keep factual, to pass on this information to our children so they know what people have accomplished way back when things were really hard. And they were able to do a lot, and they're role models for children of today. So I just wanted to put that in because we need qualified, detailed research and people who know what they're doing to tell our own stories accurately. Certainly. And Layla Bundles, she saw my book before I wrote it because I sent it to her to look over to make sure that I had the details correct. So she has a little something she said at the beginning of my book. And I read what she said on LinkedIn. She wrote a big article about her displeasure with how things worked out with the Self-Made movie. I didn't even watch it. Well, I didn't watch it, so. Having said all that, so I write, and I firmly believe that we as a people, we need to value who we are. And that's from there, everything else follows. So we started off in Africa. I'm an Africa person. So we started a business, Selmar Travel and Tours. We do specialized custom design tours, experiences in West Africa, especially Ghana and Nigeria. But yeah, that's what we do. And we take people back. There are a lot of people now, they want to black states, relocate. They've had just about enough of the United States right now. And one of the main countries they're going to is Ghana. So anybody who's interested in relocating, get back to your roots, and that includes hair roots too. We handle all aspects of that.
Sister Mary, is it costly? Because a lot of people really want to visit. Some people want to just retire from the United States and go to Africa as seeing it as a return. Is it costly to even just to go and visit in parts of Africa? About what is the price range, if I can ask?
You could ask, all right, because it depends on where you're going. You know that Africa is 54 countries. So some countries are closer than others. Some countries are more, the cost of living is a lot higher. We do tours to Ghana, we've done to Nigeria, we've done to South Africa, Kenya, I mean, wherever. So it's different. It depends on where you're going. Just a ticket, if you were to take a flight out, if you could even find a flight out now, maybe cost about $1,200. You get to a place like Ghana. It depends on the hotel you want to stay in. Ghana's hotels are quite expensive. And it depends on how much you want to see and do. But for people who are thinking about actually moving, retiring, relocating, repatriating to Ghana in particular, I have a book I wrote in 2018, before the year of return. It's called Moving to Ghana, The Essential Things You Want to Know. It covers all aspects from what you really need to know about living in Ghana, cost of living, where to live, immigration, visa status, tax, pensions, all of that. It's available at Amazon.com too.
And what's the name of that book again, sister?
Moving to Ghana, The Essential Things You Need to Know.
Plain and simple. You want to know about moving to Ghana? That is the name of the book, Moving to Ghana.
And we do visits to go. We're doing visits too, because what people should never do is call yourself moving to a country without, number one, visiting for a while, not as a tourist. And number two, with preconceived notions. You don't want to do that. So it's a big deal, and you need to know what you're doing. And people like my company, this is what we do. We can help you. We can really help you.
Right. And I think that is important, because we have, and we can talk some more about that, have so many preconceived notions about various different parts of Africa. And like you said, Africa is a very large continent, deceptively large. If you just look at the maps that we look at here, it is deceptively much larger than we can ever imagine, with so many different cultures. And I know, brother, that's one of the things that Brother Kofi takes on, the various cultures all over the continent. But I certainly appreciate you getting that information out, and that's something that people need to look at before they want to make that type of move. Now I want to go to Rashana, and I thought about Rashana when Brother Kofi was talking about the child hair in Kemet and the side locks, depicting that of youth. And Sister Rashana, you deal specifically with clientele of children. Now, and we talked a little bit about it before, but tell me what some of the unique natures of dealing with children of color. How is their concept of who they are, or how we see them tied up in their hair? How do children feel about their hair, their parents feel about their hair, and what is different with working with children than it would be adults?
Well, the difference with working with children and adults, well, I guess it's like kind of the same. Your hair is very important. So it deals with their self-esteem when their hair is done and not done. So managing children's hair and adults' hair is the same, but yet different. Some people seem to think that children don't need hair maintenance as much as adults do. So they tend to neglect the children. So they'll leave styles in their hair for weeks at a time, which leads to damaged hair and future problems in the future when you don't maintain and take care of the children's hair as well as the adults.
Okay, now, and we talked a little bit about this before, but you can share this with our audience today. How often do you deal with fathers who find themselves with their children, specifically daughters who have to take care of their hair, whether on a permanent basis, whether for the weekend, whether for the summer? How often do brothers come to you like, please take care of my baby girl's hair? Talk to me a little bit about that concept.
Very often. A lot of men, they don't know too much about hair. So they bring them here so they can get educated on how to take care of their hair, what to do. Sometimes they may have, different texture than their own hair, so they don't know how to maintain it. So they bring them here so we can assist them with that.
Okay. And we also talked about maybe biracial children or children of different racial parenting who may have issues with dealing with their children's hair. Do you often see some of that in your business?
Yes, I do. And different people who adopt children. And so you might have some Caucasian parents who adopt children who don't know what to do with their hair. So they bring them here so we can assist them with that because they have no clue on what to do with the child's hair at all.
Do you give them advice as opposed to just, I know you want to get there taken care of, but they have to go back with mama or daddy the next day?
Yes, well, we give them advice because the bottom line is we practice healthy hair and healthy hair maintenance. So just coming to a salon once every 2 weeks is not going to maintain healthy hair and is not going to encourage hair growth. So we do give them tools and products that they can use to help with managing the kids' hair until they do return to the beauty shop.
Now we talked about earlier, and I'm coming to my BFF after this. But we talked earlier about what I had talked to you about when I first went to college, when I first went to Kent State University. It was the first time that I had seen that many white people in a concentrated area ever in my life. Maybe, and this might be showing my age if people are from Cleveland, other than when I went to the supplementary center, did I see that have seen that many white people. But we went through a thing at Kent where white people, and I think it was the same for them, and these are college age students, where it was a big thing after they felt comfortable with you, they wanted to touch your hair. They asked, they were polite and say, can I touch your hair? And that goes for wanting to touch black men's hair as well as black women's hair. It was a question about it. And I know that kids deal with this as well, especially black kids when they enter schools, and there may be other races, specifically white kids. It's hair becomes an issue. Have you heard about this thing, or is it just me?
No, it's not just you. As I was saying before, that used to happen to me in school too. It's intriguing to people because Caucasians, they shampoo their hair every day. So when they see African Americans and we have the same style for over a day or two, it's intriguing to them, and they want to know, how does your hair stay that way, or how do those curls last like that, or how does your hairline is like that, because they don't know that they don't wear those type of styles. So it still goes on to this day right now.
Okay, so parents, if your child goes off to school in the suburbs or whatnot, and they come back and say, "Mommy, Susie wanted to touch my hair." So should we take offense? Should we not take offense?
Don't take offense. They just intrigued. We phenomenal people. They just like what we doing.
All right. Now, Lodosha, talk to me. You brought this whole thing together, Lodosha. Why did you feel it was important to bring these people for the various subjects about hair care, and all the things that we will be talking about? Talk to me, Lodosha.
I felt a need to bring everybody together because as a licensed cosmetologist, our discipline does not have all of these modalities that really contribute to how and why we do hair, which of course are politics, of course, history, of course, the motherland, particularly with emphasis on West Africa, and children to me are really important because they are watching us all the time, whether we know it or not. And children, not necessarily in chronological age, because some people are just new to the concept of hair at any age. So not so much as, just the age itself. And I felt it was time for us to have a platform where the public can hear from the experts who contribute, to our education, why we do what we do and how. Also our books, why we're not included in books, why we're omitted, should we be included, laws, things of that nature. So these are the experts who can help answer these questions that Rashana and I were often, we'd be just overwhelmed with them all of the time. And so we need people to know that there are experts who contribute to the greater good of cosmetology.
Well, Dosha, since we have you right now, also let us know you're an author as well, and I'm very proud of you, top-selling author. Let the people know about. Look at that. That is lovely. My God, if you only knew where Lodosha came from before she was a top-selling author. I'm not gonna tell all those stories, Lodosha. But Dosha, remember we were in the Kent State parking lot that time? No, don't tell that story. Okay, all right. But Lodosha, let us know what books that you have out there and how can we find them, as well as all of your products as well.
So everything that's Lodosha Wright is available on at my Amazon store, which is called Lodosha Wright. So if you're looking for all the books, the hair care products, everything Lodosha Wright. We have backpacks, from West Africa. Coming soon is the Lodosha Wright nail polish. You heard it first, so that's coming soon. And that's it. So you just Google Lodosha Wright, everything will come up. But for right now, I would tell everybody to just hop over to Amazon or lwrightbooks.com.
Now, while I have you here, Dosha, and I've been around you so often, so many times, and heard you have to deal with a lot of questions, a lot of issues, a lot of accusations. And one of the things that we're in now, our woke stage of Blackness, and with the advent of the natural hair movement, people often, come to you because you represent the culture to the fullest, and anybody who knows you knows that. But with that comes the question about hair texture, hair color. Well, if you're such a sister down with the program and the process and the Blackness, why do you dye your hair? Why do you have color in your hair? Why do you straighten your hair? Do you have extensions? How often do you have to deal with that, and how do you deal with it?
Well, I think I deal with it daily, and the best way I can deal with it, I'm able to cope with it, is really by reading books like Susan Hall said we need to read. Definitely, going to museums. This is why everybody's on this platform, because we have to deal with this personally. So when that does come up, like now, I'm so excited to be able to tell people that there's a museum that's coming to Kent State University, and you will be able to see that we've been straightening hair long before Madam C.J. Walker. We've been coloring hair long before Miss Clairol, but we denied access to that history. And some people that are not fond of books, I do get that. So museums to me are, a great place it's also a good segue to actually pick up a book. So I'm really, really excited about the exhibit, probably more than Tameka, because I just get goosebumps every time. So I think that's the best way, is that if we know our history, because they're only saying that because they don't know. They're not really trying to be mean. They really think they're helping me out, and but they don't know their history. So this is why we need this platform, because we need them to know that a person such as Susan Hall Dotson, Dr. Ellington, Kofi, Piesie, Mary O, definitely Rashana, because she's working with the children. People need to know that they're real people who are responsible. And I do have this Milady's standard book of cosmetology. Maybe we can begin to penetrate this book, or maybe even have our own.
Now, I do want to come back to you, Dosha, and talk about the process of cosmetologists having a certain level of education, and we're dealing with House bills now. This has become political. But before we get into that, one of the best quotes that you ever had, Lodosha, is when people want to respond to the natural hair movement, and they say, well, sister, how come you're not rocking a natural hairstyle? And if I've heard you say it once, I've heard you say it a million times. If it's growing out of my head, then it's natural. So you co-signed on that one, Rashana?
Yes.
I've heard Lodosha say that a million times. But Lodosha, since you brought up what's going on in Kent State, I want to go back to Tamika. We still have her with us, correct? Yes, we do. So Tamika, Lodosha is talking about the importance of what's going on in Kent State and that museum as far as history is concerned. What can people gain? What will be the important things that people can glean from what's going on at Kent State?
So the exhibition is actually separated into three different parts. So we're going to be looking at community and memory. Basically, that's like the history. You'll see a lot of archives, things that we have never ever had the opportunity to see in person. Like, for instance, I was able to get some archives from Dr. Willie Morrow's collection. Willie Morrow is a legend in the hair industry. He started off as a barber in the 1950s, and he actually has one of the largest collections of African American hair products in his collection. And so he had in his collection a corn grinder, which was really, really interesting. And when I went to go visit him in San Diego, I asked him, I was like, well, what's up with the corn grinder? I don't understand why the corn grinder is in your collection. And he explained to me that slaves would take the corn grinder, put corn in, grind it up and make cornmeal, and then they would use that as almost kind of like shampoo or conditioner to clean their hair, because they had minimal things that they could use to keep their hair clean. And so just the idea of the fact that we had to use what we had, whatever that might be, to be able to take care of our hair, you'll get a chance to see some of those real life pieces that people use on a day-to-day basis to take care of their hair. You'll also get a chance, we talked a little bit about politics. We'll get a chance to talk a little bit about what's been going on with hair, the political aspects of it, what people have fought for in regards to Black hair. I'm gonna hopefully be able to get some people from the Akron area who are working towards developing that legislation in Ohio to prohibit discrimination of Black hair. And then also in the exhibition, we'll talk a lot about Black joy and how not only is Black hair something to look at in a historical standpoint or political standpoint, but it's something to be celebrated.
Okay. And when you talk about museums, I want to ask Susan as well. Susan, how do you get the majority of, how do museums, historical societies get the most of the things that they get? Are they donated when people die, or are they living things? Like, hey, I think I want to, send this, or do you go out and you search for it and say, hey, I heard, I got a tip saying that you guys had these things that I'm specifically looking for? How do you go about getting the majority of the things that end up in facilities like you currently are at, and where you have been prior to that?
All of the above are tools of the trade. So some people are asking, want their things to be with us, and they make provisions throughout their life or maybe upon their death. Others we get right in the moment. And it's not so much new stuff. This is really new for us. Like with COVID, we started a COVID collection that's all virtual. And a protest in response to the murder of George Floyd. We have other images from past bygone era protest marches, demonstrations, things like that in our collection. So we started collecting in real time. That is kind of new to the industry, I might add. But for example, the Louis Stokes collection, his congressional collection, it was 30 years, and it came every 2 years. He got reelected 15 times, so he did 30 years in Congress, and so they were coming every 2 years in that case. So occasionally we buy items. We find things at auction, photographs, etc. Most of the time, I would say the majority of things that are housed in archives are donated. And we have deed of gifts, and you turn them over, and that's how we have them. So sometimes they're bought from a collector who's amassed and collected these things. But by and large, the vast majority are donated. But we do make very concerted efforts to find and cajole and work on people to provide us with the tools to be able to do the work that we do, to tell their story, tell their family story, tell the community story worldwide. And we put out, there's things now, people call them history harvests. I'm not entirely a fan of history harvests that are digital, because you have your original stuff. You come to me and I got a thing set up one day, and we scan your documents and I give you back the original. I get to use them, which is a good thing. But sometimes the people who are doing history harvest, the website that they're using is temporary. It may be for a year, maybe for 5 years. Who's going to continue to host that for perpetuity? Then you took back the original. You pass, or you said, oh, they scanned them, I don't need to keep holding on to all this stuff, and you throw it away and it's gone. Well, then 10 years later, 5 years later, that website that was hosting that stuff is gone, disappears. I mean, Western Reserve Historical Society, for example, Indiana Historical Society are over 150 years old. Can something happen to the things that are there? Obviously, yes. But chances are they won't. You know, it's not just a fly-by-night moment. So, yeah, I'm always looking for new stuff, and people come to us and say, look what I have. Would you like this? This is I just got some, took me out, some manumission papers. And they're in a metal tube. And I haven't opened them yet. I'm going to take them next week to conservation and allow them to open and take them out. One is faint and one is brittle, but it's still dark. So how to get them out and then flatten them so that it doesn't tear anymore. But they're from I think it was from the 1840s, 1847, okay, where this man and woman was, their freedom was given to them in Kentucky, and they somehow made their way over the border into Indiana.
Okay, and as you know, we worked together before you ran off to Indiana. We worked together in Cleveland for the George Forbes gala, which included a lot of his papers. And we literally, myself and Bob Render, literally went to George Forbes' house, Mr. Forbes, and approached him about him turning over his things, and that set off something that ended up being very successful. Yes.
Let me tell you, I got the skid marks for many years. We had a couple boxes of things that were his from his time in city council. And I see him all the time. When we gonna do this? When we gonna do this? I cannot. He goes, I am. And some other words.
Other choice words.
Yeah, and I was like, look, I cannot back my truck up to your house to come and get them. I just can't. That would be robbery, thievery, all kind of other adjectives.
But Susan, that's what we did. We did.
Know, but just know that for years and years, I would see them sit next to each other at some black tie event. Well, when we gonna come get the stuff? I can't tell you a story without the stuff. So when people are upset about why there's no exhibit, why somebody didn't do a documentary, why there's no book, sometimes the stuff is just not there. And then you're going on suppositions, or, you know, Lodosha's remembrances, as you said, without the receipts, without the paper trail, without the newspaper accounts. And sometimes those have been destroyed along the way. So finding that a Bible with people's names and birth dates and a family will suffice, because your existence is real. We're all standing here. But there may not be a birth certificate, a government birth certificate. And they're not always true either. Okay.
Right. So families have their secrets. But Susan, I want to
government's got their secrets. Okay.
I want to get back to the hair issue.
Yes.
And I want to go right into this right now. Because I want to follow up with the House bill that Lodosha is involved in. Well, I want to go right into this notion, and this is for something everybody can get into, the notion of Black people and good hair and bad hair and white people's hair and the word nappy. Lodosha, guide me through this. Point to somebody. What do we need to talk about? What's going on with this word nappy, good hair, bad hair? I want to talk to Kofi about the historicity of this. I want to talk to everybody, any kids. Lodosha, walk me through this.
I'm not quite sure. Again, this is why I wanted to have the platform, because I don't have the answers. I'm not fond of the word. I know I might be jumping ahead of myself, but I was having a conversation with Mary, and we were talking about this very topic. And I somehow ended up saying like tribal hairstyles. And Mary was like, tribal, we don't use that word. And so these are words that we're using in our vocabulary, and we're not aware. I know when I didn't know that. So Mary, I'm going to pass the mic to you to kind of talk about that a little bit more, this whole tribal hairstyling word that we like. But I read up that nappy really meant a diaper that holds pee and boo-boo. So I don't know. Mary, can you help us out? Should we be saying tribal braids and, Kofi, this nappy hair? Help us out.
Sister Mary, talk to us about the tribal hair. Are we saying that we don't really have Bantu knots? Come on, talk to me, Marielle.
No, what I meant when we had that discussion was that sometimes the use of words like primitive, tribal, descriptions, sometimes that has a kind of a negative connotation. That's all that's what I was saying there, sometimes you have to, and that has to do with the cross-cultural differences sometimes. So sometimes it's good to be aware that just the way it's said sometimes is condescending to an African who might be reading this, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought that was important, because we do say these things and we think that we're being quote unquote Black. And I really appreciate the honesty, because like I said, we don't know these things. And so, I didn't take offense, but this is why we need to have these platforms, because
conversation, right?
We think we're saying something. And in fact, that's like saying nigga knots. Depending on who you're saying it to, it's like, what did you just say? And somebody else might be like, yeah, I know. So I didn't take offense, but I think that a lot of us, we do say these things and we think that it's not offensive when it very well could be. But maybe Kofi can speak to the word nappy. I don't like the word nappy or kinky, but this is why we're having this platform.
Brother Kofi, talk to me about that word nappy.
Okay.
From an African or historical perspective.
I'm sorry, she's working with those kids, so I don't know. Kids with the whole nappy thing, I don't know. So both of them can help with that. Yeah,
we go rock with Rashana about that as well. Go ahead, Brother Kofi.
Okay, well, first, I don't like the word nappy. We know nappy means different things in different times. I mean, we know nappy means woolly. Nappy means downy. You know, I think in the 1700s, it napping meant slightly intoxicated. And then when you start to get to the 18th, even then, when she used the word nappy at a particular time, the British used it to describe us nappy as being a dirty diaper or unruly. This comes from the British. And then you start to see during the 1840s that the word when you start to study the etymology of words, etymology is just studying the words and the uses of words at different time periods. So the words meant different things in different time periods. But when you get to the 1840s, you start to see this word start to become derogatory. You start to see, I don't like to use the word slave, so I always use the word kidnap victim. My ancestors was kidnapped. So the kidnap victims, they would describe them with these derogatory terms, you know, the hair being nappy. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, and again, these words became derogatory terms: dirty diaper, unruly, dirty, lower than an animal, or to describe those people as being animals because they thought our ancestors was animals at one particular time. So this is where the word nappy comes from. I don't like to use the word at all. Is no such thing as good and bad hair. You see, we was taught that nappy is a bad thing, and we were taught that that we, which, you know what I'm saying, nothing wrong with that, straightening our hair, because even at one particular time I thought straightening of hair was wrong until I started to do more research and understand that when you look into Africa, and even with me studying the geographical locations and what grows out of those geographical locations, you know, we describe our hair as kinky, you know what I'm saying, knotty, you know what I'm saying. It's nothing wrong with, you know what I'm saying, your hair kinky, knotty, or woolly. And when you study, 75% of people in Africa, hair is woolly and kinky, 75%. But 15% of the people hair is straight and curly. Yes, I said straight and curly. Africans have straight and curly hair. If you go look down in Somalia, Ethiopia, and the Sudan, their hair is curly. I'm gonna show this in my presentation tomorrow, that brothers look like models. You know what I'm saying? Look like soul gold models, you know? Right. So they had long curly hair. Now, when you study science and different things, when you go into the Sahara places that have more humidity, you start to see Africans that have straight hair. You start to see people, even with the dyeing of hair, you start to see in those places, because of when I'm talking about the food in these different geographical locations, they might be some nutritions that they might not be able to get that lightens their hair up. So I have color in my hair too. So you might see an African that may not only have black hair, he might have red hair. He may have blonde hair, gold hair, and it's due to the things that they are lacking, a certain nutrition that grows in the geographical location and the humidity that might have their hair a certain texture, straight. Or you go down to East Africa again, in Somalia, Sudan, and even you might see brothers that may have curly hair. You may look up in North Africa and Pacific places in South Africa and South Africa and East Africa. You may see brothers that may have woolly. It just all depends on the geographical location.
Okay. I want to go to Rashana, because you're dealing with the babies often, with the children, and I know children. I know as a child, I heard many children telling other children, "Oh, your hair is nappy," or "My hair is better," or "I got Indian in my family." Rashana, talk to me about dealing with children and their connection. You spoke a little bit about it, but their connection to their hair, specifically about hair texture and the word nappy and the connotation that it carries to children.
Well, for children, using the word nappy is a negative, derogatory thing, and it makes them feel away. So there is no good hair and bad hair. There's no such thing. It's different textures of hair, different grades of hair. And like he said, it comes from your diet sometimes. It also comes from just your genetics. So your hair grows with you. So with children, you may start out having one texture of hair, but as you grow, depending on your diet or how your hair is maintained or not maintained, it'll eventually determine the texture you have as you become an adult. That's why the children need to be educated at a younger age on textures of hair. No such thing as good hair or bad hair. It's just hair. You have to take care of it. One is just different. Some hair is coarse, some is thin, some is fine. It's just different words, but there's no such thing as good or bad hair.
Now, Lodosha, didn't we have a conversation one time when it was brought up that people were saying that Black people wash their hair or should wash their hair with dirt? Did I hear that come up somewhere?
Yeah, so we hear some of these wives' tales. I don't know where they come from. And we have a historian and we have, all these experts on here. So Rashana, maybe, I don't know, but well, I know you've heard it, but we do hear a lot in hair salon. These are the common three things that I hear, and I believe that they have their roots in slavery. So maybe Kofi, Mary, or Susan can clear this up. But these are the common three things that Rashana and I hear. Number one, Black people cannot wash their hair as often as white people or others. We hear this all the time. / dirt makes your hair grow. Number two, don't comb your hair. Black people cannot comb their hair. If you comb your hair, you're gonna mess your hair up, or somehow a comb is very, bad. And then number three, Rashana already spoke to it, that if you have this certain texture or degree of hair that is bad, like people will come to the hair salon and before they can even sit down, they're apologizing about their natural texture. Like, I'm so sorry, my hair is not calm. I'm so sorry. And we're like, well, if you were in an auto dealership, it might make sense, but this is a hair salon. So I don't know, maybe some hair salons are making people feel bad for coming in with textured hair. So I don't know where that's coming from. Susan, maybe you can help us out with dirt makes hair grow. Black people can't comb hair. Where are we finding this in history? I don't know.
Susan, help us out.
We just carry a whole lot of baggage. And some, I believe, from our colonizer state, our oppressed state, of having the least and making do with that during enslavement. But some of that, I think, also comes what we brought with us from our original places. We hold myths and mythologized stuff. And over time, particularly with the distance, we twist and turn it. I mean, I could be, my grandmother was highly into a lot of that stuff. Like, if you knocked over the salt shaker, which shoulder I needed to put it over, I can't tell you today, but if we call my cousin, she could tell you right now, you can't wash your hair during this, you can't do that. We got a lot of that. We carry a lot of baggage, and I'm not an expert on where that all extracts from, but I'm not even going to give that to what happened from when we were enslaved, because when we were enslaved, we brought that stuff with us too. We got all kind of myths and we lost some, maybe translation from here to there and there to there. But if you go to other countries, particularly in the Caribbean, they're extracted too. They had similar but different experiences and got some of the same stuff going on about hair, body care, hygiene, the moon. I mean, can't wash it on this day, can't do it that way. If I wash it when it's cold, I'm gonna get a cold. Woo! A lot of stuff. So where to put that, I don't want, I think there's a whole lot of, if we want to call it blame or attribution, to go around to where we get some of these notions. But because of history, books, TV, media literacy, magazines, our own oral history interactions, like in a salon, what you keep hearing over and over and over again becomes what? Some of our truths, become a community's truth, become a community's belief. Good and bad hair. Ooh, I know that's the one I be running from all the time. It's good if you still got it. It's bad when it left before its time. I mean, that's about all I could think of. Those who, come on, chill, you know, still want it to be going on. My husband too still wish it was going on. It's not. It is just how it is. So, but what he still got, is it good or bad? I mean, I have had more fights as a child over that in my own family, outside of my family, about what people think. Just like you, even still, people touching my hair at work. So we're gonna segue to this, but Lodosha and I said, okay, what I'm gonna do? Am I gonna curl it? I'm gonna blow it out because I'm a new Rev Air fan. She could get to that. I'm gonna plug it for her. But if I do it quote unquote naturally, it's wavy and curly and poofy. And if I start touching it, it get bigger and bigger. I could beat Chaka Khan and Diana Ross in Central Park because it's just big hair all over the place. And I went to work like that one day. Oh, I love it. It's so cute. It's so fluffy. And I was like, girl, we get ready to fight in here. So so straight, Lodosha, I'm gonna let her talk about why people do and how long. That's not new, and it's everywhere. Women been ironing out their hair, white women, black women. Heat, it's just about heat. For some, it was like maybe they wanted to be closer to white culture. For the most part, hell, I just wanted to get my fingers to it today. Okay, I feel like having to do it. It's too cold for me to walk around with a wet head on the way out the door. It's 45 degrees here today. But braids, you're more African because you got braids. You're more black because you got braids. Braids is a manipulated style. They do not grow out of our head. That's something we do, just like this was something I did. But tomorrow I might have braids, or I don't have weave, but I could. Then I could have a dirty 30 too. You know, that would be, and that ain't new either. That's not new either. Kofi just talked about that. That's not new. Mary talked about that. It's not new. How we have manipulated what we have, whether it was wigs, weaves, braids. Yeah, the bad word for the knots. When I was a kid, we couldn't wear that out. I don't even dignify with repeating it today. But it ain't because I'm afraid, but it was like, but now I can hear my grandmothers or somebody, if they were still living, oh, that's cute, but that was not. So styles, politics, that's why we got the Crown Act right now, because we fighting about getting fired for what grows out of our hair.
Right, and I do want to, because we run up on the 4:30 time, but I do want to talk about Senate Bill 245. But I also saw Kofi over there nodding his head on some of the things that were just said about some of the myths and things that may have been brought over from Africa that we have dealt with during pre-colonial times. Kofi, did you want to add some of the things?
Mary has a comment. Mary has a comment too.
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Mary. Then we go to Kofi.
Yeah. Okay, so some of those myths that you mentioned, some may have a basis, and a lot of them may not, because of what we were enduring during the times of enslavement, right? But I know in Africa, at least West Africa, and Africa is a big, humongous place with so many cultures and traditions. But before the time that we were kidnapped and brought to the United States, cleanliness is very important in Africa. I mean, they take baths multiple times a day, more than a year, because when we came here from Africa and come to America, we used to say, hey, these people, some of them, they don't take as many baths as we do all the time. We are clean people. That includes hair. They don't be throwing junk in the hair. If they had stuff in their hair, You know, we used to use thread to plait hair. You know, threading. They use thread. Maybe some of that came about when enslaved people came to America, where you can use thread to thread your hair. Or in some cultures, they would put like red mud. Remember, there are some cultures that have like, they look like real thick locks with mud. That was a part of their tradition. But generally speaking, I don't know where that came from, or because let me just say, Africans, they wash hair not as often as white people's hair, because white people have more oily, they have more oil in their hair, which a lot of black hair does not have that much oil. So you don't wash it so much because you strip a lot of oil from their hair. Maybe they just knew this. Furthermore, we have all kinds of combs. I went to a museum in Ghana. Come and see the whole wall full of different types of combs, the wooden combs with the big space between the whatever, so that we used to comb out our hair all the time. It was a community thing for Africans to sit around for hours, like here, that has translated across Atlantic, but comb out the hair little by little, braid it, plait it, so hair was clean. That thing about dirty hair, I don't know where that came from, but I suspect that it had something to do with those people who enslaved and put those kinds of thoughts in people's heads. Yeah, I'm telling you. So I just wanted to put that. I'm just saying, for my African people, we're clean people. I don't know where that came from.
Get them straight, Mary.
Yeah, so, and another thing, value. We're having a problem with issue. It all comes down to valuing who we are. We're not going to have other people tell us which words we're going to be using to describe ourselves. You know, they're so negative. Why would you use the oppressor's language to come and now use on yourself? You have, our own problem is we have to value who we are, what we are, naturally ourselves, you know, and from there, all this other kind of stuff is just moot.
Right. And I appreciate you bringing that your information. And from the chat, I do want to give a shout out to my brother Sean P, who's saying, hey, make sure everybody that's on the YouTube channel right now, please, if you will be so kind, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll have more things, more events, more discussions of various topics. So please subscribe to the Kevin ChillHair YouTube channel, which also will be the home of ChillVision as well as ChillTalk. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And also, if you'd like to donate, you see that information on there as well. If you want to donate something to the ChillTalk, ChillVision platform, you see the CashApp in the chat box. I want to definitely come back to Lodosha before we finish up about the Senate Bill 245, but really quick, Brother Kofi, about some of the things that you just heard about myths associated with black hair and things that came over from Africa, things that were during pre-colonial, colonial times and dealing with the colonizers. Did you have some things you wanted to add to that?
Well, I mean, they don't basically said it all. The first thing though, and I'll just be brief, dirt washing hair. I never heard, that's my first time ever hearing that we washed our hair with dirt. I've never ever heard that. And you know, just agree with, you know, the washing of the hair all the time, but stripping the oils out of our, you know, out of our hair. And the combings. I mean, as I can reiterate, you know, this has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Our ancestors, you know, has took pleasure in styling their hair. So we always, like she says, been a clean person, a clean people. We always have did certain things to our hair. So the notion of us not combing our hair, if you go look at my my article, Beautiful Black Hair, Stop Using the N-Word, or even go to Kofi People'sHair TV and look at my African hair presentation. Those are two different things. I don't have some of the same information on there. I have numerous of pictures from different ethnic groups all over Africa showing you the different styles and even showing you some of the elders in the community combing young girls' hair, you know, men hair, etc. Even if I have pictures on there too, if they go to and look at combs. You know, I have old combs from years and years ago. If you from the Chukwu people, and that's in the Congo, that's in Central Africa, Ghana. I have a comb, ancient comb from Ghana, a comb from the Ivory Coast in West Africa, dealing with the Bole people, a comb dealing with the Amazulu people in South Africa, the Kauri people in Tanzania. So I got lots of illustrations on there. If that was the case, our ancestors wouldn't be creating this technology at one time was combed. This new technology was combed. These combs in order to comb the hair and style the hair. So I don't know where that come from. Africans or Black people ain't supposed to comb their hair. I don't know where that comes from, but that's crazy. We got historical evidence all throughout Africa, East, West, South, Central, and North, of our ancestors combing their hair and taking pride in combing and styling their hair.
Well, Sister Mary O said, I suspect that comes from the people that brought us over here. I think you might have a point on that one. Go ahead, Lodosha.
Yeah, so what I'm speaking to more specifically, and Rashana, maybe you can chime in a little bit. There is this notion that, you know, we should be washing our hair like, you know, every 2 weeks. You know, if you comb your hair, somehow it's going to break your hair, like finger combing. And these are things that, you know, we are deliberately trying to, you know, replace with something that's proper. And so we see a lot of frustration, you know, in that. So I think some of that is just coming from, you know, not knowing how to, not having access to the right products. But we do see a lot of, you know, extended periods of times, no washing, no combing, and then they'll say that the device doesn't work, the product isn't good. They'll make the company look bad, but the hair isn't cleansed properly. And it could be a combination of that, but we just needed to clear that up, because some people, we do hear this type of language a lot, where women on an intimate basis, they're putting hair additions in and they're leaving them in for months at a time. We're talking about 2 and 3 months, beyond the point of, you know, I paid this much money, so I think I can leave it in. A lot of it is truly tied to, we're Black and we don't have to do this. And so we needed to hear from, you know, other people saying, no, this is not our history, not washing, not combing, this is not true.
All right, Rashana, have you also heard this information about not washing, not combing? Rashana, is she with us? Do we have her?
I think she just left for a chill.
Okay, we lost Rashana. But while I do have Mary O from the chat, my brother Lathartis Goggins says that he has been to Ghana a few times and is thinking about moving there. But he's also recently heard that Tanzania is a good place to move to as well. Can you help that brother out with some information about moving to Ghana and Tanzania?
Tanzania is good too. It's good. I was just writing a little post I will post. It's one of the 8 countries that people are looking at. With respect to Tanzania, it is, the cost of living there is good. It's kind of lower. I think it's a little bit lower than Ghana. And there's opportunity to do business. The visas and work permits will be a little lengthier process. It can be kind of tough over there. But a lot of people are moving there. To get a work permit or resident permit might take a little time. But if you're going to go and you're going to be working, it's best that you have something you can do on your own, like a business you can do maybe online, or just have a way that you know that you're going to make money, because companies will not actually be hiring people, foreigners. It's difficult. So unless you have a job with a company ahead of time. What you do, if you go to my website, or even to my Facebook at Mary Oluonye author, I will post something. I'm going to be posting questions you should ask yourself before making a move. There are 13 questions you have to ask yourself, and then I give you a little blurb about the different 8 countries I'm talking about that people are moving to in Africa.
So there you go, Latardis.
Yeah, if that's helpful. Or if not, just email me. If he emails me, mary@maryoluonye.com, I can give him the info on Tanzania.
All right, there you go. Lodosha, as we are now, we at 4:42, but talk to us about the Senate Bill 245. What is it? What's going on? Why is it important to know about this? You're on mute, Lodosha.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. So again, this is why I wanted to have these platforms, because a lot of people are not aware that here in the United States, you have some states you have the option to have a license to work with what they're calling natural hair. And then in some states, you don't have to have a license at all. And so natural hair styling is pretty much hairstyles that don't require chemicals or heat styling. You're just going to wash the hair, you're going to twist it, braid it, lock it, maybe roll it. But long as you're not using, like flat irons or things of that nature. I think you can sit under a dryer. So some states you can have it, some states you don't. So here in Ohio, we have Senate Bill 245 that was introduced, Senate Bill 245 that was introduced by House Representative Stephanie House and State Representative Sandra R. Williams. And they introduced this bill that says that natural hairstylists do not need education and they don't need regulation. And the reason being is because they're Africans, they're Black people, one. Two, the Milady's Book of Cosmetology, a lot of cosmetology schools were not necessarily teaching braiding hair. And so this is a big problem. And also this is being supported and spearheaded by the Department of Justice, who sees the braiding license as an impediment to employment. And their argument is that if you regulate and you require education for braiders, this is a population who will have difficulty with attending school and paying for it. And so therefore, we don't need it. So Kofi, Susan, and Marielle left on the panel. I interpret that, are you saying that Black people can't learn? We want to invest in education. I'm not quite sure how they're making this such a big success, because they are winning cases across the United States that education for braided hair, anyone who's locking and all this, they don't need education. And I disagree with that. You're on mute.
Anybody else want to add to that in their opinion? Because as we get ready to close this down, I wanted to get something quick on racial appropriation as far as it deals with hair. Can white people rock Black hairstyles? Y'all with it? Y'all not with it? What do you think about it? And also this question is still on the table about the knots or the Bantu knots. Or those type of hairstyles of those names. But just on the education, hairstylists needing a level of education.
Not hairstylists, braiders.
Braiders, excuse me. Okay, how do you guys feel about that?
Okay, I'll take a stab. I don't know that braiders need a license to braid and to learn how to braid. But I think that just from seeing some of my friends come back with tension issues or having to help one of my sisters take out her braids that she kept in, that's her fault. But also, what guidance was she being given where we were sitting there. I had to call Lodosha in the middle of the night. I said, she's fitting to get a straight razor and cut this all off. I got half of it done. Can you? It was all matted and it was just a hot mess. So I think the education part is necessary. Maybe it's not the lengthy process. And maybe it is, I don't know, for other cosmetology licensing, but care, cleanliness, how long to keep them in. We all like these myths, where they come from. I heard them, a lot of them, during my young life in particular, and they still out here about so many things that I don't think it could hurt the braiders to then be as knowledgeable as, say, Lodosha and Rashana on how to provide adequate care for their hair, braided or not. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay. Anybody what's your opinion real quick as we shut this down? I need to know about white people rocking black hairstyles. We with it, we not with it. Black people having braids, black people having the quote unquote, white people having the quote unquote Bantu knots. We with it, we not with it. What do they think about it over on the continent? What do we think about it here?
Asking us?
I'm asking you guys.
Oh, for me, I think, I'm one of those who say, if this is what you want to do, go ahead and do it, because I'm not here to judge the motivations of anybody else. I don't want other people telling me exactly what I can and cannot do. As long as I know who I am inside, that's how I feel about anybody else. If you want to do it, that's your business. Go ahead and do it. I'm not here to tell you what to do. That's not what I was brought on earth to be doing. I'm not judging.
So you don't feel you don't feel a certain way when you see white people rocking this.
I just look at them and just say, no. I just say, no, whoa. That's what we say. Wonderful. We just say, oh. We just look and just say, as long as they're happy with it's up to them. If they like it and they feel good, and it's not hurting me, it's not hurting too many people. They're not making money off of it, I don't think. And basically, I'm just one of those people who, let people do what they want to do. I'm not here to judge you.
All right, but
you are not here to tell me anything about me either.
And I just want you guys to know that you let some people, you give them an inch, and then they'll be saying that hey, come on now. We know that the people that rock with the whole Rachel Dolezal thing. She rocked some black hairstyles, and the next thing you know, she was claiming that she was black. But go ahead, somebody else jump out there about their opinion on appropriation of cultural hairstyles.
I'll be short. I ain't cool with it. I'm not cool with it. I mean, we always giving our stuff away to people. We just love giving our stuff. Why we can't have something? I don't, they have their own culture, their own tradition, their own customs. That's fine. Let them have that. I understand that. Let us have what we have too. I just the dreadlocks and the braids and trying to cut your hair up in these different bobs and fades and high tops. I mean, let us have ours, man. Y'all create something for yourself over there. But I'm not with it. Like I'm saying, but people can do what they want to do. But I'm not with it. Let us have ours. Y'all create y'all own. But we always creating stuff and then giving it away. Oh, it's okay to let them do it. And then they take over our stuff. So I'm not cool with it.
I'm going to take it one step further, is that it's one thing to share, and mimicry is flattery, blah, 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 blah. But they take, and Mary said this too, take it, steal it, appropriate it, then monetize it and that type of level of, that don't make me feel good. From music to language to hairstyles to all of it, and all of it some more. So it's oftentimes upsetting to, I mean, I was watching the new Kroger commercial. I don't know, you guys don't have Kroger there. And they go, low, 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 low. I was like, they're little puppets. And I was done. I was like, it's over. Like taking one of your raps without your permission. Yeah, one of your old school raps without your permission. And it's in a commercial with these little cartoon characters. And they are, I think one of them now has a black person in them because somebody must have said something. And they're all white. One's a little old lady, very stereotypical with a bun on top of her hair. And they start going low, 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 low. I was like, damn. So
Kroger's, we coming for you, Kroger's.
I get angry when we don't get credit. We don't get paid. And it was ugly, disgusting, and all these bad pejorative terms like, yeah, you said it earlier, nigger knots. I mean, we were saying it too, that's another form of self-hate that we just got to get past. But now, you know, one of those K girls, okay, I ain't even gonna say their name all the way out loud, walk around with Bantu knots.
Who's that? You said the Kardashians?
You said you wasn't I ain't calling their name. Why are you giving them any more credit than they got? They don't.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I thought you said it, but go ahead.
Yeah, I did. One of them walk around with Bantu knots, and now it's, you know, we got my husband over here. He writing quotes. It's coming. Don't get us started over here. But yeah, it becomes. I'm cool with people wanting to do what they like, but it goes past that. So just wearing braids is cool. You know, here my husband wrote from jazz to Elvis to step shows. Woo! You know, the level of appropriation where we also don't get any credit for it. So it steps beyond, you know, live and let live. So then we get the outs for having done it, and then they get celebrated for having. You know, I come from the era, because I'm old, from the era of Bo Derek. Damn, she was a 10. We still got a Crown Act that's only in, I think, 3 states right now where you cannot be fired for your natural hairstyle. But back then in the 70s, Bo Derek was a 10 for wearing what? Cornrows.
Right. And brother, Dr. Latardis Goggins also in the chat brought up Bo Derek. But go ahead, Lodosha, you were saying something.
I was going to say, as you know, like as a hairstylist, this conversation is really tough for us because it's our business. This is how we, I don't want to say make money, but it's how we express ourselves, you know, our artistry, our love. And, you know, let's say she was lighter and her hair was more textured. Should we say because she's classified as white, now she can't wear the cornrow braids because on her birth certificate, you know, her race is now classified as white. See, in the beauty salon, we don't associate race with hair, you know, so this is why we need to have this platform, because hair care companies, a lot of them are trying to reach out and trying to clear some of this up and trying to find what line to tote, you know. So to me, when Susan made the statement, you know, we got to, you know, somehow get credit for it. So this is why we need to have these platforms so that they can know to say, you know, where it's coming from. But in my career, I see people with hair straight like this naturally that can't, you know, cornrows, it's going to be hard to put something like that, but they have to wear their hair straight. We don't want to classify that as a white hairstyle. We want to do what the fabric can do and sometimes what the fabric calls for, because it's a style, and for that texture, that style may be the best. Unfortunately, if they're classified as white people, because we do have white people, quote unquote, which I thought Kofi was going to jump on, you know, get us with the race thing, but he didn't go there, that they have textured hair. So we saying they can't get cornrows, they can't rock locks because they're white. So I'm going to pass the mic to Kofi. You know, I don't know.
Kofi, she passed you the mic, bro. You're on mute. Go ahead.
So what you asking me? You asked what are you asking me now?
I'm
Sister Lodosha?
saying, like, I see in the chat, like, people are saying, like, no, white people can't do it, but a white person can have Afro hair. A white person can have textured hair, and they need to get it cornrowed down, so they may need to rock it. So we're saying, oh, well, since you're classified as white, we can't put these cornrows in your hair because you ain't African, you ain't Black. I'm kind of like Mary, you know, I mean, and I don't work for money, but it's the fabric, and we have to do what the fabric calls for. And I think the word white people, Black people, is messing it all up. So
yeah, but I'm not using it like a black and a white thing. I'm using it as a cultural and a custom thing. That's what I'm using is when you look at, you talk about the Bantu knots. You know, we talking about the Bantu people. We talking about those people that migrated from West Africa into East Africa and Central Africa. Those people had customs and cultures. They, you know, they wear their hair a certain way. Their hair meant certain things. To wear their hair a certain way. So I'm not getting into black or white. I'm talking about a cultural thing. That's why I'm saying let us. We created this and engulfed this in our culture. So and I wouldn't have a problem with it. But what I'm saying is, our culture, even when we talk about music and hip hop is a culture. Hip hop is a lifestyle. And what I mean by that is, in lifestyle, it comes with the talk that we talk, the way that we walk, you know what I'm saying, the way that we wear our hair, the way that we wear our clothes. That's a culture. So we were innovators. We created that. It became a culture, a hip hop culture. And now what we do is we give it, it's because one thing is we get caught up in capitalism so much that capitalism becomes the first thing where it doesn't matter as long as we get in the bag. You know what I'm saying? We can obsolete certain things as long as we get into the bag. We'll let them do that, or we'll let them say this, or we'll let them do this, or we'll let them steal that. As long as I'm getting the bag, it's cool with it. So I'm just saying that when we create these things in our culture, then we let other people that are guests or we become friends with, you know, we let them be a part of the culture. Okay, it's okay for you to say that word. It's okay for you to rock that cap. It's okay for you to wear your hair like that. It's okay for you to eat these or cook these certain types of foods. And then we give that to them. And then just like she said, they can always do, if you look through the historical record, they have always capitalized off of the things that we have created because we're so friendly. And I understand that when you look at African culture, Africans' cultures, it's a difference between here in America and in Africa. You can get this in volume 2. I talk about being a human, you know, about being a human. The meaning of human in America is different in African culture. So I understand how we open our hearts and we so friendly, which it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. So we open up, okay, we so friendly, we'll let them do it, but then they'll take what we have and we create it, and then they will claim it for themselves, capitalize off of it and make money off of it. And then there you go, just like she's saying with the Kardashians. They done popularized the Bantu knots. So now they are getting the credit for the Bantu knots when it originated in Africa. You look at the people in Nigeria, they rock the Bantu knots. They've been doing this for centuries. You look at the Amazulu people in South Africa, they rock the Bantu rock, but they're not getting the credit for it. It's all the hype is on these Kardashian things. So again, it's not about a black or white thing, it's about a cultural thing.
Right, but I'm saying, and I understand the cultural part, and I'm seeing in the chat where people are saying stuff like, I don't see coarse hair on Europeans and things of that nature. Now, unless we are from an anatomical standpoint, we've been taught wrong. We're taught that it's the size and the shape of the follicle that's going to determine the texture. That's one. Right. Two, we see a lot of terms being cross-used in layman's terms that's not used in the professional world. Like somebody said, I don't see coarse hair on Europeans. Coarse in the world of cosmetology has to do with strength, but in the streets, it means texture. So again, there is a science to cosmetology that it's not getting any credit, because that's why I said we need to be on these platforms so that we can clear a lot of this miseducation up. So unless I'm really missing something, when we look at the mouth or the shape of the follicle, that is determining the texture. And I know that I do my part behind the chair to clear that up, to say coarse does not mean nappy hair. Coarse means strong hair. Texture, tight, coarse, those are not used synonymously in the world of cosmetology like they're used on the street. So I do understand what you're saying about the culture of braid styling, but from a stylist, a hairstylist perspective, and Rashana, I'm glad you came back. They're trying to get me, Rashana.
Hey, Sean wants to get in on this.
I'm sorry to take it over, but I knew it was gonna get heated because that's why I wanted Kofi on the feed, and I see Sean saying, "Let me in, let him in."
I'm about to shoot Sean the link.
I had a technical difficulty.
That's okay, because Rashana, they saying that it's cultural appropriation if we cornrow, the white people's hair, but like I said, you and I, we see hair according to texture. So if the texture says it can be cornrow, we gonna put it on there. We're not gonna say, we're gonna explain the culture. Don't get it wrong. We do explain the culture, where the hairstyle is coming from, and we will say to the parent, the child, the person, about the braids. I even will put them on the link where the griot stone man told me, and West African, well, in Ghana, and on the island of Janjambura, he told me that the W, the 3 cornrow braiding, represents Wolof or Mandingo. That's what the whole braiding style is about, is to capture the culture. So I'll even go there, but that's their story. I'm not saying it's in all African, like she said, it's a continent. But on the island of Janjambura, from the stone man, may he rest in peace, that's what he taught us, and that is for everybody. So Rashana, I know you're just coming on the end, but we do look at hair according to textures. We don't see race. If a person wants to put Bantu knots or cornrow, if their hair can get it, we gonna pop it in there. Rashana, what you say?
It's a hairstyle. Cornrows is a hairstyle, like a ponytail is a hairstyle. Your hair being crimped or curled or waved, it's a hairstyle. For us on our end, it's a hairstyle.
Lodosha, get your team together, because I just gave Sean the link, and Sean is irate.
Mary, say something, Mary.
He's gonna be in the same boat. He's gonna be reiterating the same.
Mary want to say something.
Sean on his way, so y'all better get it in.
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, so what I'm going to say about cultural appropriation, then what would you say for all these people who are wearing the straightened hairstyles? They are the wigs that are super straight, and the people are African or African Americans or people of color. So if we're complaining about other people appropriating our hairstyles, what does that say for us who may be wearing the hairstyles of others?
I mean, I'm against that as well. But I mean, even when we talk about straight hair, again, when we talk about the texture of the hair, when we talking about texture of the hair, you have people in Africa, again, 75% of the people in Africa have woolly and kinky hair. 15% of it have curly and straight hair. It just all depends on the geographical load. That's where people get misconstrued at too. They think that only.
No.
But also,
that's not what I mean.
People
that's not what I mean.
Too. All
that's not what I mean.
People are not born with straight hair.
All right, go ahead, Mary. Let us know what your point is.
No, I'm saying that's not exactly what I mean. I mean, I know Africa has all kinds of different physical characteristics. People have different genetic components, and there's straight hair, curly hair, everything in between. But I'm saying, what about the people who have, I don't know how you call it. I call my hair cottony, because I like how it feels. Cotton is my own natural. But you see people who are wearing the straight wigs, or the straight hair, and that's not what naturally comes out of their scalp. So is that appropriating their
am I
styles
cultural
of others?
appropriating? Yeah.
Do we now say we are appropriating the cultures of some other peoples?
Yes,
as well?
we do, and that has to do with that definitely has to do with when you study the kidnapping trade, especially the image. When 1865, after that, we know it hurts us emotionally to think about that, but it scarred us emotionally, but it also scarred us psychologically, especially the Black image. Our hair. This is why even when you start to study after that, you start to see the bleaching of the skin, the straightening of the straight hair, and a lot of the women in those particular times, and still in this time, use it for political status, or they use it to gain, you know what I'm saying, access or better opportunities, especially back in those days. So you will start to see them use this. The standard became the European standard. Even today, when we go out to jobs and stuff, the standard is not our standard, it's the European standard. So we think putting on a suit is the European standard. So we put it, and I know then they look at me if I come in there with a fitted cap on and what's name, but if I go and look at the Italian history, the Italians, their dress, they were gangsters, they wore suits. So now we have to wear suits. We have to talk with this proper rhetoric. We have to have our hair a certain type of way for their standards, because this is their standards, their beauty of standards of their standards in a way people supposed to look. So I have I fight with my wife all the time and with my family when they try to look like someone else. You know what I'm saying? So we do it on our end too, with the straight hair, the bleaching of the skin, the blue eyes and contact blue eyes or hazel eyes. So I mean, I'll stop right there. Lodosha want to get in.
All right, and I know Lodosha wants to get
Come
in.
on,
And she's,
Lodosha, come on.
And she's showing her straight hair, but
Come
I do
on.
also want to announce that we do have any Eret Sean Kalfani, Sean P, one of the authors of Spears of the Mossy Volume 1, 2, soon to be Volume 3. Sean is in the building, and I guarantee you that he has something to say. And so does my dog. Sean,
yes,
jump
sir.
on in there, bro. We're gonna let it go. You just joined us.
Well,
Sean.
Let me be clear. First of all, let me go point for point real quick. When I say I haven't seen coarse hair on European people, I am specifically saying I have not just seen. I ain't saying that they don't have it. I ain't saying that, none of that stuff. I'm just saying I have not bear witness to actually seeing these people with coarse hair. I've seen them imitate different hairstyles in order to try to make their hair coarse, but I have not seen it. So I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm not telling you to not braid these people hair, because you got to get paid. That's your profession. So you got to do what you got to do. So I'm not taking away your economic impact of that being done either. What I am specifically stating and saying here, and I will elaborate this over and over, is that the fact that our hair has more meaning to us than it does to them. So they're not Wolof, they're not Fulani, they're not Hausa, they're not Yoruba, they're not Igbo, they're not Zulu, they're not Akan, they're not descendants of none of these people. And across that coastline, through all the ethnic groups that impact the continent that make it the motherland, those people were not there in those traditions and customs when things were being handed down and passed down from one generation to another. My argument is simple and plain. Yes, the Fulani hair, the Fulani braid that comes to the front, our women been doing that, but they didn't know that it was Fulani. And then next thing you know, you have a couple of people come and do that, and then it's mock a million. Everybody wants to do it because they seen the KKs with it. Then you turn around and you see the Bantu knot or the Zulu knot, because Bantu just basically means people. So you see that, and then you see it reiterated here. What I'm saying is we are culturally disconnected from our true self. Therefore, we will allow anyone acceptance into our world when it comes when it regards our culture. Everyone. Now, here's the flip of the coin. In return, we want to Europeanize our hairstyles. Not everybody, Lodosha, don't be making them faces. We want to Europeanize our hairstyles to see fit to be accepted into corporate America. So I do thank you for the show. You know, the panel is awesome. This is a great discussion, but from a male's perspective about the hairstyles of our people, I am only saying this not from a sexist position or anything like that. I believe the way that our women rock our hairstyles and do things, these people cannot do. So when I make it black and white, I'm making it black and white by just simply saying that don't look good on you. 1,000 teeny braids or whatever y'all call it to be costing people $600 crochet braids. Hey, listen, that don't look good on you.
It don't look good on some of them either.
I'm about to get to that. It's just
They
like
don't look good on all black
cute.
people either. It's a hairstyle.
Not everybody look cute. But what my point is, those who can rock it, let them rock it. Leave them alone. But don't go mocking us. Trying, you just talked about us in secrecy among all your people. And then you want to go out and get this particular hairstyle because you seen somebody on ETV with this hairstyle and they're popular, or they posted it on their Instagram, and the next thing you know, you jumping all over it because of that. Yeah. But what you're really doing is you're really running amok with us because you don't know that represents a deity to us. That represents a lineage to us. That represents the ancestors who paved the way for us. Those hairstyles. Now I'm being historical here. The hairstyles, the little circle braids, square braids, zigzag braids, like you said earlier about the wool off Sister Lodosha, that 3 braid set, the 4 braid set, the 6 braid set, they all represented something that had to do with us. Whether it was us coming through a rites of passage, birth, marriage, all kinds of things are tied into the hair. Your hair was was so important to us that you braided it up in a particular way to cross the Atlantic with stuff in your hair, just so we can continue to plant and grow foods and things of that nature that we needed to survive.
Right.
That was.
All right, okay, go ahead, Lodosha. They got Sean. They're not gonna let you bark them down like that.
Hey, man,
say what you're saying, Lodosha.
I think that for those who will capture this, in the archives, we really want to see additional comments on this very topic. But what Rashana and I are saying is that, to both of you guys' points, is that we do take that rich history and we explain it to those people who are not aware, not just, the KKs, but, like she said, we have people who will come into the salon and will ask for these hairstyles. And like Rashana said, we'll tell them, no, that you can't get that. You don't get a pass on that just because, as they say, all skin folk, they can't get it. So we do. I think that what we have to do is take that information that we're talking about, that you and Kofi are speaking of, and we do share it with our customers. We do let them know that braiding hair, hair is the most high and connected spiritually, but we don't. And I know you're not saying to deny them the process or the option of having it because of the color of their skin, but biologically or anatomically speaking, hair textures and hair types are not about the color of the skin. I just want to put that out there. And then number 2, we know that culture is the dominant role of all, I don't want to say some, but of all hairstyles. So Rashana, add something to that too.
Well, that's what I want to say. When doing hair, you're not looking at a black or white thing. And I don't think everything is always a black or white thing. So with dealing with the beauty industry is a trending factor that we deal with from time to time. So if a certain style is trending, Black people want it, white people want it, Hispanics want it. So for me, I just don't always feel that if somebody is wearing a certain hairstyle, they're trying to be Black or they're trying to be white. So, and again, hair textures are different with everyone. So as far as the Caucasian people having coarse hair, they have different textures of hair, just like Black people do. So it is some Caucasians who are not born with straight hair. They are born with curly hair. And then those people, they would like their hair to be straight. Then as with us, some people who have straight hair would like it to be curly. So I just feel like it's just a preference of the trending style or the fashion or however you see fit that you want to wear. But I don't think that everything is always a Black thing and a white thing when it comes to hair. That's just my opinion.
And it also, it evolves because like I was shocked to learn. I have it right here, and I'll put that I'll share it with Chill. He can put it in the link. But there is an archaeologist who found curling irons dated back from 1194 in Egypt. So even when we look at the images on the Medinetter, we still see that, those people were wearing all these different hairstyles for different reasons. Yes, hair has some spiritual meaning culturally from different cultures across on the whole planet. But to Rashana's point, hair is also, and I think, I don't know how it's captured historically, but in present day times, it is definitely also fashion. So yes, the spirit, the cultural side of it, the traditional side, it exists, but it also has, like she said, a fashion and a trend. And I know, like as we said, you're not saying that it's a Black or white thing, but we're using this platform to let people know in the world of cosmetology, it's those people who are making it Black and white. The cosmetologists, we try. Some do. You got some salons that will say, we don't do Black people. You have some Black salons that will say, we don't do white people. But Rashana and I, we're saying, no, we're going to do hair.
Hair.
Mary?
Something, yeah.
Yeah, Mary has something. Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I like the gentlemen are saying, I'm learning a lot from them, even about, the significance of hairstyles, the history. They have a lot to teach people now. I mean, I think what they have is very valuable. And we should, as a people, know this. I personally don't spend too much time worrying about what other people are thinking about what I'm doing or what my people are doing. The energy there is just, I'd rather just bring that energy back to us and focus on who we are, as I always say, and valuing what we have, and we know what we have. So what other people think, what they do, that's their business. My main focus right now is on building, just building up who we are, from the kids to adults, but mainly for the kids. So that's why it's so important to teach the history of everything like this to the younger people. I see they have some books, but I really would love to see, books for younger readers about the significance of hair, the spirituality, the styles, where it came from, that's it.
You just gave me an idea. I got a children. Me and Sean got a children book out, but you just gave me an idea to do something else that I could throw together real quick and get it published. So appreciate that.
Well done.
Lodosha, you have a book too that deal with a kid's book, right?
Yes. So
Lodosha has one too.
Yes. So yeah, he's familiar with my book about curly hair adventures. But again, I know we got to wrap it up. We're moving that 2-hour mark. But this was the purpose of us having this platform, because as we can see, there's so much more, and this was the goal, so that you guys can see who are the other people who are doing other things, have different, vantage points or just points in general, resources where you can go to learn so much more, because the topic of hair is so broad. Of course, we couldn't dare capture it in 2 hours, but as we had anticipated, that these types of issues, they're looming, they're brewing, and we're just trying to, have a platform and a place where people can go and find their answers and merge together. Because Rashana and I, we're working behind the chair. We're dealing with this stuff intimately. She's with these children who are not getting the history that Sean is talking about, that Kofi is talking about. We have parents that don't know that they can go online and visit the Indiana Historical Society. Some of them may not even be aware that people of our color are even doing these types of things. So this was or is the purpose of the platform, and we know that we could probably have a part 2. So and I would love to take it to the next level and do something different. So Chill, you could, take it from there.
All right. Hey, guys, everyone who participated in this contributed. Sean, you were late, but you came strong, bro. But everyone who participated gave us lots of information. Big ups to the two sisters. Dr. Ellington is not here with us. Rashana returned, but appreciate everybody, and everybody who was in the chat. Loads of comments. You guys had your own discussions and information and debates going on, and this was the purpose that Lodosha wanted to do this in the first place, to get the discussion going. And I think if that was our mission, we accomplished it. We gave a lot of information, a lot of background, a lot of context, content and context of hair, of Black hair, of people, of history, of politics, and certainly we could have gone on for quite some time. But I think that Lodosha, you should be happy that one of the reasons that you wanted to do this and bring these people together, I think the mission was done. Please go and support all of these people individually. We're gonna make the rounds real quick on how you can find these people. For the people that are watching it right now, for the people who will watch it as we share this very important discussion, they want to know how to get in contact with you. Since we have Brother Sean just jumped on. Sean, how can they contact you, find out the information that you have out? Certainly you and Kofi will have some of the same contact points, but go ahead, Sean, let them know where they can find you at.
You can find me on the Mashi Warrior Clan YouTube channel, Kofi Piesie Research Team YouTube channel. Both have Facebook like pages, and you can find me on Facebook, Any Heret Sean Calfunny. My name means he who brings back the lost shall lead. I want y'all to think about that when y'all talk about that hair. You get all our published books. You get all our published books on Amazon. I let Kofi rock out that part because he's gonna give you all that.
Susan has to leave, so let Susan go next.
All right, Susan Paul Dotson, talk to us. You're on mute, Susan.
Our website is indianahistory.org. Email shall@indianahistory.org. I threw it in the chat for here, but not the YouTube chat. So I've only been in the Zoom. So I've been missing all the comments. But, as a historian, a purveyor of trying to tell our stories, I just appreciated everybody, appreciated this moment. We all got opinions, like we all got, but at the end of the day, we all get to come together to dispel the myths, dispel the bad chatter, dispel the poor and erroneous historiographies that are out there. And without all of us in this space right now to come together, we would still be listening to the weaponized, the criminalized versions of history and stories about the past and even our present. So kudos to everybody for speaking your truth and speaking our community's truth too. Because
right.
without it, we'll just continue to be listening to someone else's chatter about who we are and whose we are.
Thank you, Susan Hall Dotson.
Thank you, Chill.
Thank you. Rashana, where can they find you?
You can find me at Kids on Instagram, Kids Style Lounge. I'm all one word. I'm also, my salon is located at 4604 Turney Road in Garfield. My other location, my other salon is located at 8005 Kinsman, located inside the Box Spot.
All right, we appreciate that. We appreciate the time that you took with us, even coming back to join us.
I made it.
Sister Mary O, hi, because we have loads of people out here wanting to find you, wanting to take these trips. Some people want those trips to be longer than other people's trips. Some want to visit, and some just don't want to come back. And I can understand that. But how can they find you? How can they contact you?
Okay, I put in the chat, I don't know if people can see it. I put Mary at maryoluonye.com. You can find me there. Email me. I know you don't know how to spell my name. Oluonye. It's a Nigerian name. And the company, our business is
Can you spell that one more time? Can you spell it one more time?
Oluonye. So if you mail me at Mary at maryoluonye.com, I'll get it. You can also find me on Facebook at Mary Oluonye Author. And our travel business is Selmar Travel and Tours with a CELMAR travelandtours.com. That will give you an idea of what we do. But if you're really interested in relocation, repatriation, or just visiting Ghana in particular or Nigeria, just email me. I'm available. People call me anytime. They email me all the time. I'm available. I'll help you.
Well, Sister Mary, I did put your email. It is in the YouTube chat thread as well as in the comments section. So anyone wants to find Sister Mary O, you can go grab it out of the comment section or the live chat feed. So we appreciate that. And did you get a chance to give your book information as well? They can contact you, but let them know about your books as well.
Okay, that's on Amazon.com. If you just go to Amazon.com and put Mary Oluonye, my name, you'll find my books. Garrett Morgan, there's one, Moving to Ghana. The things you need to know. That's your first step, research. Check it out. Amazon.com, Mary Oluonye. Thank you all.
All right, brother Kofi Piesie, man. Sean is in the chat. Man, y'all, come on. Everybody needs to have at least looked in the chat. Sean is in there. He has his own things going on in the chat, as we know our brother Sean does. But brother Kofi Piesie of the Kofi Piesie research team and other affiliations as well. Let the people know how they can reach out to you. Okay, for some reason. Oh, you're on mute, Kofi.
Yeah, I was on mute.
Okay.
Mute. I was just writing down everything people saying. But yeah, you can find me on Masi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. You can find me on the Seshuma Ani Metanetra channel. You can find me on Kofi Piesie TV YouTube channel as well. You can find me on Facebook. That is Kofi Piesie. That is Kofi. That is my first name. Last name is Piesie. It is a Ghanese name. You can find me also on the Masi Warrior Clan and the Kofi Piesie TV have like pages. We have numerous information. You can find us on there. We go live on there from time to time. We put information up on there every other day, if not daily, between us and the Kofi Piesie research team. Our books, you can find Spirits of the Masi Historical Survey Volume 1, which is a collective work by Kofi Piesie research team on Kofi Piesie TV and Amazon.com, as well as From Spears to Pens, Historical Survey of African Warrior Scholars Volume 2. as well as on KofiPieSideTV.com and Amazon.com. We prefer that you go straight to the website or contact us directly instead of going through Amazon. Don't want to tell you why, but either way, you know, Amazon or Kofi Pieside TV is fine, but you always want to try to go through the author to get it directly through them. Also, get Sean's, who is also a member of Marcy Warrior Clan and Kofi Pieside Research Team. We have a children book up under our Kofi Pieside Research Team and Marcy Warrior Clan imprint. That is one night before bed. Again, that is one night before bed. You can find that on Kofi Pieside Research, Kofi Pieside TV and Amazon.com, as well as my children book, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland, and African Education and Music and Instrument. This is the book here for people. This is the Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland. This is my children book right here. This is Sean's One Night Before Bed, the children book. So we are not only doing scholastic work, but we are doing work for the children, for our babies as well. Also, I'm finna purchase your book, Moving to Ghana. The essential things you need to know is $9.99 for people that want to know about her book. You can get it on, I mean, it's like she said, it's on Amazon.com. I got it pulled up right now. I got her information. I will be contacting her for numerous different things. So please go support that sister and be on the lookout. She gave me an idea about children hair book. Lodosha has a wonderful book out, Curly Hair Adventures. And I'm going to try to put something out dealing with her dedicated to the children here real soon. I know I'm long-winded, and also, look out October the 30th, which is Friday. Me and Sean have a big announcement. It's going to be a double impact. I guarantee there's going to be a double impact. So look out for a big announcement on October the 30th, and be on the lookout for another announcement that is involving Lodosha Wright and Kevin Chill Hurd for a project that's coming out in November, but we'll get y'all on a later date.
Oh, shucky duck. Lodosha, you hear that? We're part of an announcement.
Okay, all right. So I would like to say a big shout out to Mr. Carey. What's going on? I appreciate you. Also, Aliu, we got Gambia in the house representing. My auntie Mary, that's right. We got Memphis, Tennessee is in the house. We also have Selena and Melanie. We got Kentucky representing. So I appreciate you guys so much for your support. Also, to those of you who really want to reach out to Mary, she is the reason why I was able to get to West Africa. So she is responsible for delegates. And let me just tell you, it was the best travel experience. They took care of everything for us. I had never stepped a foot off of South America, and I mean in my North America, I'm sorry. And I'm telling you that her agency, they made it affordable. It was just a phenomenal experience. So please use Mary. Like I said, I ain't never been nowhere. And if she can get me out the hood, I'm telling you, she can help you out, okay? So that's it. And of course, all you gotta do is just Google Lodosha Wright, and everything gonna pop up except my baby daddy.
All right, well, we appreciate everyone. Please, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the Kevin Chill Her YouTube channel. Also, hit the notification bell so when the next time that we pop something new, you will be appraised of it and support us. But again, thank you for the entire panel. Thank you to my BFF Lodosha Wright for sponsoring this phenomenal discussion. We could have gone on for who knows how long, but
yeah, that chat is on fire, man. I'm gonna leave that alone.
The chat is fire. For those of y'all who weren't looking at the chat is fire. But yeah, a lot of smart people in the chat. That's how we roll. So we appreciate you guys. Support everything that you saw here. Support all the people. People have books. People have museums. People have affiliations. Everybody support everybody, and that's how we're gonna get to where we're going.
Hey,
so,
Chill.
Yes, sir.
Now, can I say one more thing, man, before you get through? Because I don't want them to be mad at me. I don't want my West African family to be mad at me.
What is it? What is it, brother Kofi?
Well, I want to shout out
Here
the
we go.
Gay Skills Journal Academy. I want to shout out Fatu. I want to shout out Omar. I want to shout out Alu. I want to shout out Madu. I want to shout out Safi. I want to shout out Fidel. And I also want to shout out, be on the lookout also in November. Be looking out for the store. It's called Family Connected. I don't forgot the name of the store, but we have a store called Family Connected something. It's a partnership between West Africa and the United States. The Gay Journal Skill. We have a brand called Mboka Brand Clothing.
Can you please name names and not specified West Africa and United States? Can you please?
Gambia. Between the Gambia,
our brothers and sisters in the Gambia, and the Kofi Piesie research team have a business venture outside of our scholarship program, thanks to Sister Lodosha, who got all of this started a long time ago. That's why I yielded my time early, Chill, because I knew this was coming.
Yeah, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Just be on the lookout for the Mboka brand. Mboka is a Wolof word that means families. We all family, and we have a soft launch that's coming in November. I'll have the store links up. We have a variety. It won't be just shirts. It's going to be clothing. So be on the lookout for the Mboka brand, as well as the Kofi Piesie research brand clothing as well.
There we have it. Hey, appreciate you guys. Love everybody. Wonderful experience. Hope everybody that listened learned something. I doubt very seriously if there was any one single person that did not. So there it is. Please, as this concludes, go ahead and share it, link it so people who weren't watching right now can go ahead and see it later and get the information. Lodosha, I'm gonna let you close it out the way you normally close it out.
Hey, I want to thanks to my homegirl, Miss Rashana. I knew you had my back, boo. I love you. You know I love you. Sean, we got to get together because I'm itching to get on. I'm ready to get down with the Kofi Piesie research team.
I just can't treat you like you stereo now. I can't do it. It's hard for me to come at you like that.
I'll have me out here talking like I don't know. Anyway,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Mary O, thank you so much. Kofi, you know I just love the grounds you walk on. Chill, you're the best BFF known to mankind. And so that's it. Y'all know what I say when I'm always signing out. I'm talking about a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and a whole lot of hair. And if you ain't got no hair, don't want no hair, ain't interested in no hair, can't even grow no hair, all you got to do is just rub your beautiful, beautiful bald head.
We up out of here, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.